Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, right here on Port Royal Pop, and welcome to the latest edition of The Last of Us After Party. We are talking all things episode 5 of The Last of Us. So if you haven't seen the episode by now, just save this video and you watch later, come back, watch it. Have you seen the episode? Let's get right into it. This is open spoilers discussion where we talk about everything that's happened in episode 5 of The Last of Us, which is actually titled Endure and Survive. It actually, and the funny thing with The Last of Us episode 5 is that it dropped on the Friday or Saturday here in Australia before the Super Bowl was to be played. They released it earlier. And ironically for me, it's probably the latest episode that I've watched since it gets released, if that makes sense. So usually I'm pretty good. Usually I keep up to date with all of the episodes and I watch them like same day that they're streamed. This one took me a little while just to catch up on, which is, like I said, ironic considering that it was the first episode that was released earlier than the other ones thanks to the Super Bowl. So the 5th episode picks up from the previous episode where we see Joel and Ellie making it through Kansas City, and he encountered a group of raiders. One thing led to another. They end up hiding in a tall skyscraper just to seek cover until at least the morning, and then they're woken, we believe in the middle of the night I think it was, and Ellie wakes Joel up, and we see our first look at Henry and Sam as they're standing over Joel and Ellie, pointing the guns at them. Video game favorites Henry and Sam makes their appearance in the end of the episode, but episode 5 is centered around them and around Joel and Ellie. I thought it was a good episode. I think, with episode 5 now coming out, we're over halfway through the season, which is like mind-boggling. Like, this is, the way that they've told the story so far. It's really moving at a really good pace, actually. It's like well paced. It took one detour throughout the season. It was at episode 3, which was in itself one of the best TV episodes of all time. I've already said that on the show. But once things got back on track, it's the Joel and Ellie story now. They encounter Henry and Sam as they're hiding out from in the Kansas City, they're hiding out from Kathleen, who's the leader of this Kansas City resistance sort of group. Her second in command, Perry's played by Jeffrey Pierce, who voices Joel's brother in the video game, which is, a nice touch there. So yeah, Kathleen and this sort of Kansas City freedom fighters are hunting Henry down. We don't know why, but we know that she's pretty hell-bent on trying to catch up with Henry and in turn catch up with Sam. We get all that when we're introduced to Henry and Sam. We get all that they're on the run, they want to lay low, and they've been watching Joel and Ellie as they make their way through Kansas City. And I think that, when Henry's seeing how well that Joel is traversing through this world, and he sees him and he wants to catch up with him, and he wants to essentially use him to get him and his younger brother, so Sam's his younger brother, to try and get them through and out of this sort of lockdown area here in Kansas City. So we get that motive that they want Joel to help them get out, and yeah, that pretty much sets up the episode. Is we're spending the episode with Joel, Ellie, and then Henry and Sam. Henry and Sam are sort of designed as a bit of a mirror to Joel and Ellie, in that, they're siblings, older brother looking after younger brother, trying to survive and trying to avoid encounters and trying to avoid confrontations in the world. It's sort of is a mirror to the Joel and Ellie story of survival and, this older guardian figure looking after the younger person, and I think it's that synergy between the two pairs that really captures what this TV show is all about. This TV show is about family, and it's about it's about finding light in the darkness. That's what this show's about. That's what the video game is all about. So I think people who are coming into this show expecting to see zombies, expecting, oh, I just want to see zombies, blah, 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 they don't really understand what this show and what The Last of Us is about. So that's my side. I had a big rant about this a couple episodes ago, but yeah, so we get a look at Henry and Sam, and so they're trying to get out of this sort of locked-in area here in Kansas City. And Kathleen, like I said, I gave a massive prop to Kathleen in the last episode, played by Melanie Linsky. She's a different type of leader, a different type of villain. She's not imposing, or she's not intimidating physically by any means necessary, but she's got this soft sort of voice, which I compared to Professor Umbridge of the Harry Potter series. She's this antagonist that's not your usual tough guy antagonist, and by her being the leader of this Kansas City resistance, I think is a nice touch, because remember, she's a new character. She's an original character. She gets under your skin, and that's what she's designed to do. That's what all good antagonists should do, and she does that. She does that very well, this Kathleen character. So I can't fault that. I can't say that that's not right, because I like the character. I like the character, what they do with it. I like what they've done with it. It's really like this sort of passive-aggressive foil to Joel. Well, not really to Joel, but to Henry in that. So yeah, Kathleen, great character. Her second in command, Perry, also just as cool. Excuse me. So yeah, what I liked about the episode is that it made us, in the short time frame, like what episode 3 did, it got us to fall in love with these new characters which we just meet in the episode, and that we grow to care about in the 60 minutes or so of runtime. And if you've seen the episode, you're watching this video, you've seen the episode, and you know that ending has to be one of the most impactful endings for the show. We've had 3 massive punches to the gut, pretty much. We had the opening scene with Joel and his daughter. We had the Bill and Frank story and that beautiful tragedy. I'm going to call it a beautiful tragedy. And now we get this absolute, gut punch to the gut. If that's one way to describe it, it just absolutely takes you in. And yeah, we'll work our way back to it. But going back throughout the episodes that they're walking through, going through the sewers and all that, I think the dynamics between Ellie and Sam are really good. These are 2 kids in this post-apocalyptic world, and they're just trying to find the joy in things, and they bring something to the adults, and they remind something to the adults that they, adults and the older people, quite frankly, may have lost in the pandemic, in the outbreak, and that is joy and laughter. And there's that beautiful scene when they're in the I can't remember where they are. They're in sort of like a meeting room, and that's right, Ali's showing Sam the joke book, making Sam laugh. And then you look at, it cuts back to Henry, and he's sitting next to Joel, and Henry's looking over and he's saying, "Oh, haven't heard that in a long time." And you can just see Joel's this hard and tough sort of leader that's got to remain tough and got to remain vigilant. And he's got this look on it like he's like, he doesn't know how to respond to it, doesn't know how to respond to the laughter, doesn't know how to respond to this happy moment that's happening with these young kids, beside the point of everything that's happening around them. So I really like that scene of the episode. That was, really, 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 really good. Yeah, definitely really good. some of the other, yeah, and then they go down to the tunnels and into the sewers, and then we get the that part where they got to wait until, I think they're waiting till night or day. They're waiting anyway in this sort of abandoned shelter, and it's got all these kid stuff in it. We get more moments just like that in this area. So the dynamics between Ellie and Sam and the interaction, the relationships that they build. And you can see throughout the episode that Joel really starts to take a warm to Henry and to Sam, and that Allie is the one. Allie's the one that pushed him into doing it. You know, at first you're like, no, absolutely not, off the cards, no, in true Joel fashion. And then Allie just says, you know what, no, you guys are coming. So I think that was the relationship that's building between Allie and Joel is starting to shift. So at the first, it was Joel showing Allie the way, and now as we go on and further into the story and further into the journey and further into the, you know, the track or whatever, into the show, we're seeing this sort of role reversal in that Allie is the one that is taking the lead and really showing Joel that, you know, showing Joel the way. So I'm liking that starting to shift, because we do see it in the game as well, like that sort of role reversal at times, and then seeing it starting to come through here, really good. So they escape the tunnels, walking through this sort of abandoned area of Kansas City. But before that, actually, we obviously we figure out that Sam's battle with leukemia is going on, and yeah, he sold out Michael with the doctor previously sold him out, so with the promise that he'll get medication happen, and then we get this sort of sense that Kathleen is really after Henry and for insubordination or whatever it is. So that's what that. So while this hunting is going on, they're trying to get out of the city, which they eventually do. They get through the sewers to the other side, and that moment when they're walking and everything's fine, and then that sniper shot. Another thing borrowed from the game, and that's one of the things that I really liked, is they're doing these different elements from the game. That you get the infected scenes in the game or sequences in the game, and then you get those shootouts, which we saw in the last episode. That sort of shootout, there was many shootouts within The Last of Us, and then we get this moment like this where there's a sniper on you, you're pinned down, you've got to try and figure out a way to do it, and which Joel does. Obviously there's a TV show, so Joel's going to dig himself around, and then Kathleen and them catch up with them. We have that sort of tense standoff between Kathleen and Sam. Sam's saying take me, Henry saying take me, let Sam go, and Kathleen, being the villain that she is, doesn't want to do that, and she won't let Sam go or Henry go, one or the other. She wants both, basically. So before that, actually, when they I'm jumping ahead because there's the finale I really want to dive into, but before that, get that scene with the trucks coming up, and then Joel, who takes out the sniper. So the sniper was the one that alerted Kathleen to come. Takes the sniper out. The car crashes into a house, and then it slowly starts to fall. Just as Kathleen, it's GoldenEye moment. Oromov has got Trevelyan telling Bond to come out. It's that moment. It's Kathleen's ready to end Henry, when they look over and they hear this massive noise coming from the truck. It's falling into the house, but then we hear rumblings under the house, under the truck. Something's happening, and that's when a absolute massive crowd of infected come running out, saving the day pretty much for Henry, Sam, Joel and Ellie. Taking out all the freedom fighters, just swarming them, and people. The biggest complaint I've seen in the last couple episodes is there's not enough infected scenes. Not enough infected scenes. I've always said that The Last of Us isn't about zombies. Isn't about the infected. It's an element to the greater picture, but it's not about it. So when you get moments like this, you get that horde rush out of the basement. That's when moments like this pays off. Like, it's been a while since we've seen the infected, and here they are coming, and they're here to save Joel and Ellie. They're taking out the resistance. They're taking out the soldiers and the people like that. So that was a cool moment. And then we hear this big sort of roar thing come out from the ground as well. And we get our first look at a bloater, the big, massive juggernaut type infected. And oh my goodness, how cool was that entrance? Comes up, just wreaks havoc, immune to the shots, and takes out Perry, the second in command. Full shot of taking out Kathleen. I thought Kathleen would have met her end there. But leading up to that, we sort of get this cool little interaction with a little moment where Ellie is trying to escape this younger sort of teenage infected. Really quick one in the car scene. We get that cool car scene, and then full circle catches up. Kathleen catches up to the rest as she's got the gun pointed at them, and the little infected that was trying to get to Ellie comes and kills Kathleen, which I think wraps up that sort of 2-episode story arc when they're in Kansas City. Wraps up nicely. And yeah, like I said, that scene there where the infected just came rushing out, and then that bloater comes out. It's just like, oh, so well done. And like I said, it's moments like that that really stand out, and you're not oversaturating the show with infected. Because like I said, you can make it a zombie show if you wanted, but at the end of the day, it is an element of the overall story, and by showing lesser of the infected, it adds more weight and more meaning for when these scenes pop up, which I think it did very, very perfectly. So that's that scene. They get to the end, and they make their way to a motel, which leads us into the conclusion of the episode. So they're sitting in, we get that scene where they're sitting in the episode, and then Sam shows Ellie that, he's been bitten. During the attack, he's been bitten. Then Ellie tries to comfort him, to saying that, shows her the arm that where her infection has, and that she's immune, that her blood is super blood or whatever. Which again goes to show that not even Ellie understands how she's immune to the infection, because she just tries to rub her blood onto Sam, and fingers crossed that's going to cure him. And I think that's important to know that Ellie is just trying to figure out this thing as we are, as Joel is. So that little moment there was bittersweet, because we know it's not going to work. Because the next day, Ellie gets up, and there's Sam sitting at the end of the bed. She goes to check on him, see if he's okay. And then he attacks her, and we realise that he's infected. They sort of brawl out into the other area where Joel and Henry are sitting. And then we get that ending that's just like a kick to the guts, in a good way. It's these are two characters that we just met. About, if we conclude the appearance of the last episode, we met them about 55 minutes ago, and we've come to care about. We want these characters. If we had it our way, these characters would go with Joel and Ellie right up to where to the safe zone, but that's not the case, because Joel and Henry sees that Sam's infected, obviously Joel's first reaction when you come across an infected, you've got to shoot it. He reaches for the gun. Henry wrestles the gun off Joel, and this is where the big brother moment, you know, it's more so Henry saying, no, Joel, do not shoot. Henry, let me do this. But then it's also like he doesn't know what to do, and it was just sort of like a spur of the moment sort of thing. So he grabs the gun off Joel, and as Sam goes to, you know, rip further into Ellie, that's where Henry pulls the trigger and kills him. And then obviously how distraught, as an older brother, to be able to, you have to put your own younger brother down. That's just enough reason to be distraught. But then Henry just, he just doesn't know how to react. He doesn't know how to take it. And then what does he do? He takes that same gun and, you know, pulls the trigger on himself. And you're sitting there watching, as a viewer, you're watching this and you're just like, oh my God. And then we get that next scene the next day when they're burying them, and then Ellie drops the little piece of paper that they've been writing on onto Sam's grave and says, you know, I'm sorry. It says something like that, I'm sorry. Beautiful. Perfection. Beautiful, beautiful moment. Bittersweet because, oh my goodness, that was a gut wrench. That was an absolute kick in the guts. Just like Joel and Sarah, just like Bill and Frank. Third one of the show. And we get further of that sort of role reversal where Ellie starts to walk off and says to Joel, hurry up, let's go. Let's keep moving. So, yeah, I think, all in all, I think it was another brilliant episode. I'm just going to stop saying it's the greatest TV show ever made because I've already pointed it out many, many times. And there's no denying how much I love this show. And I cannot believe we are already over the halfway point of the episode. I'm continually amazed with the production value of this show, the set design, the even the audio mixing and the sound editing and sound mixing and all that. Every episode I'm blown away with how great it looks and how good the cinematography is. So this episode definitely, like, episodes 1 to 4 really raise the bar, and, you know, to be honest, episode 5, the bar's up, you know, the bar's already high. So this is just coasting along on that already high bar. Like other shows are down here, this show's just coasting along now, and hopefully it coasts along just like that right up to episode 9 consistently. So yeah, that's but yeah, that's some of the things I liked. I can't find any faults. I mean, I don't know if there's any criticism I have of the episode. I think more so the Henry and Kathleen sort of thing is a bit muddy even now. Like, I'm trying to remember what the actual motive was for Kathleen to go after Henry. But the whole like, that's all I think about this episode 5. If you think about episode 5, I think of Henry, Sam, Joel and Ellie. And then I think of that that huge infected horde at that dead end street. So that's all I think about episode 5. Did miss a beat. Very good storytelling. Can't wait for episode 6. Which means 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 4 episodes remaining. Over halfway through the season. So they've got a whole lot of storytelling to tell. And I trust them. They've already sold me. They've trust that they're going to tell the story at a good pace and move things along to where they need to be. Alright. Now, with that out of the way, guys, question is for you. What did you think of The Last of Us episode 5, Endure and Survive? What are some things you liked about it? Did you like the Henry and Sam storyline? Did you like Joel and Ellie and the Henry-Sam dynamics? Jump into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. And that is going to do it for today's episode of The Last of Us After Party. Hopefully we'll be back a bit early in the week next time doing this episode, for episode 6. But yeah, that's going to do it. If you like this video and you want to see more, we would appreciate it if you were to leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date for our next upload. But once again, thanks for watching us here on Port Royal Pop, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.